The River Irk, quite an unremarkable river, starts somewhere just outside Oldham, runs down towards Manchester city centre. Not a very long river either, but as it gets towards Collyhurst it runs into the Irk Valley. And around the Irk Valley there's quite a few little interesting anomalies that I'd like to show you. This is Manchester off the beaten track. First sort of sunny day we've had in Manchester. It's first day of spring today. I can feel my skin synthesising vitamin D for the first time in 6 months. Anyway, that side, we're in a kind of oasis here, and we're literally, I'll just do a 360 for you. We're about 1 mile from the city centre. We're in Collyhurst, and you think, well, yeah, okay, it's just a bit of a brownfield site, and you're right, it is a brownfield site, but if you look at the ground that I'm walking on, cobbled streets, or a cobbled street, and if you look round, that's all there is, a cobbled road. And this is all that is left of a street called Fitzgeorge Street, and it used to have houses on it. And when we get a little bit further down, the only thing I can do to show you what it used to be like is show you a comparison. So on the 2nd of June 1941, the German Luftwaffe dropped a bomb here, and it hit the houses quite hard and destroyed the corner of that viaduct there. And I'll show you the photograph now, quite fascinating, but it's the only photograph I've got or I can find of Fitzgeorge Street as it was when it had houses on. So the houses behind me there are all that's left of the Electric Circus, famous venue where Joy Division used to play, and famously went on, well, were billed as the Stiff Kittens but changed the name just before they went on to Warsaw. And you can just sort of imagine Joy Division coming down there off Rochdale Road, turning the van round and driving up here, and driving and parking along here somewhere and unloading the gear back in the day, about 40 years ago. So this footbridge used to go over the old Red Bank carriage sidings. Obviously at one time probably a well-used footbridge, but no one comes here now. You can tell it's just completely overgrown, but some great views of the city centre from here. I'm not even going to try to explain this one. Can you imagine being on a train that crashes and comes off the viaduct up there? That railway viaduct spans the Irk Valley, and on that railway viaduct another viaduct joins it. There's like a junction. Saturday the 15th of August 1953. It was 7:20 on a Saturday morning. An electric train had left Bury, a town just to the north of Manchester, and was heading down the line. Now apparently as you got towards the viaducts above the Irk Valley, the situation was the signals will always be at amber as you get towards the viaduct, and the final signal onto the viaduct would be green. This apparently was how it always was. He anticipated that situation, and that fatal anticipation was to cost the driver of the electric train his life, because he goes through the amber lights,
and the final signal is red at danger. He goes through that red signal and he smashes into the front of a steam train that had left Manchester Victoria and was heading for Bacup. He overturns the steam train. The front carriage of the electric train smashes over the parapet. The front carriage fell 40 feet onto the banks of the river down below, and the rear carriage fell 70 feet and landed in the river itself. 9 passengers were killed, including the driver, making a total of 10. But for the fact that it was a Saturday morning, the death toll would have been much higher.
And then of course you've got Angel Meadow, described by Engels as hell on earth. Nowadays it's a really nice park, people come here and hang out, but it used to be full of slums and really poor housing with no sanitation. And as the Industrial Revolution took off in Manchester, loads of immigrants came in and started to occupy the multiple sort of like level tenancies. So there were families in there, there were lodgers, no sanitation, no toilets, and people just used to throw it outside. And couple that with the fact that there was a tannery on the edge of the Irk as well. All this used to run down into the river, turning the River Irk into this black, lifeless flow of sludge, if you like, and the stench apparently was unimaginable. But yeah, so that was kind of like a river bank at one time, and beyond the arches there was the River Irk, or still is the River Irk. It just runs on the other side of that bridge there. But Angel Meadow is probably a whole other video that I haven't made yet, so maybe one day I'll make that. Juicy Bridge, Manchester. Across there is Victoria Station and the arena, where you too could go and see a band that appears so small on stage like ants. But anyway, behind me is a hidden world of rivers and railways. So that's Miles Platting Bank. So if you can hear me, the River Irk is just behind me here, and it's nearing Journey's End now as it goes into a culvert underneath Victoria Station. Manchester Victoria Station. Somewhere deep below me is the River Irk in its culvert. We need to go and find out where it reappears. Let's go and have a look. So in this lesser trod place in Manchester city centre, in the shadow there of the cathedral, we can finally see where that culvert comes out, and it's where the River Irk finally meets the River Irwell.